The theme for Human Rights Day this year is also under the UN theme, which is 20 years of looking back and looking forward. It also looks at emerging rights in terms of looking forward. One of those emerging rights is the right to truth. And in any post-conflict situation, there has to be a focus on the right to truth. There has to be a focus on truth, on accountability and reconciliation. Memorialization is a mechanism of reconciliation. It is a way of recognizing the past. It is a way of finding the truth. It's a way of honoring the dead. It's a way of honoring the conflict and what happened during that conflict. Memorialization exists in the form of it could be museums, archiving, documenting. So it's documenting the past, archiving documents, photographs of the past, keeping an archive of what happened, because we need to remember also that we have the youth, and the youth needs to know where we come from in order to look forward sustainably and progressively. And so you will find that many memorialization initiatives, many museums of this nature have peace education segments that they do, and so they get the youth in their schools and so forth, and try to teach young people the values of respecting diversity. Some of the challenges on the ground from our membership is around capacity. So there's financial capacity, there's capacity in regard to human resources, so having the people to do what needs to be done, but also having skilled people, people who understand what needs to be done, people who know the best practices in taking forward human rights compliance. But you also, and I say this respectfully, you also have issues around political will. You also have issues around respecting the universality of human rights. In the Commonwealth particularly, there is more that needs to be done in regard to equality and discrimination. We are the divided house in regard to certain rights, the protection of rights, bearing in mind equality and non-discrimination. But there is much hope that through dialogue and through finding areas where we can have consensus within those rights areas, that we can even advance those rights areas where we are divided house currently. I think there needs to be a focus on understanding that human rights are universal, understanding that the protection and promotion of these rights go with everybody. It's not selective. For example, human rights, I want to single out human rights defenders on Human Rights Day. They play a critical part in the protection and the promotion of human rights. But more and more in the Commonwealth, we find that they are being gagged, that there are attempts to muzzle them. And I think maybe it is time for us to try and understand why it is important to have human rights defenders. Nelson Mandela was a human rights defender, you know, and he was muzzled and he was gagged by putting him in a prison. But despite that, that flame could not be put out, you know. And so again, I come back to that and say that we need to learn from the past, and we need to look at these things and refocus once again on how we protect and promote the lives of everybody in our Commonwealth member states.